Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you fill us in on who you are, where you're from, and where are you based now?
Hi, I'm Dana. I am based in Singapore at the moment. I was born in Taiwan, and but I moved to Austria when I was 3 years old. So I am an Austrian Taiwanese, and I think I'm more, in my mind, more Austrian, more European than Asian, but I still have a lot of Asian values. And yeah, I started my trailing spouse journey about 10 years ago. So I was working in Germany, and I was there with my husband, and we had 2 little kids there. And my husband always said that he would like to go abroad for a few years. And he's working in a multinational company. So there was a big chance that this will happen one day. And I had my own career. I was a journalist, but on the other side, on the corporate side. So I was a spokesperson for a company, and I was totally into my career. And then child number 1 came. It was like every new mom, it was overwhelming. And I went back to work quite fast. I mean, maybe too fast, but because it was my identity to work, to have my career, but still I wanted to be a mom. And then number 2 came 2 years later, and I was struggling with work-life balance, and I was so focused on my career. And then suddenly my husband said, oh yeah, there's an opportunity to go abroad, to go from Germany to Czech Republic to Prague. And I was like, no, I don't want to go there. I mean, I have my career. I have 2 little kids, which is normal, like as a young family, but I have my own career. I don't want to give it up. And so we were discussing it for months. And then I have to say that I struggled so much with this work-life balance that I ran into a nearly burnout. And then my husband said, okay, now it's time. You should go now. And this was quite convincing at that time. I said, okay, this is maybe a sign to take a step back and just leave everything behind. And yeah.
So how old were the kids at this stage?
They were, I think, 3 and 1 years old.
Mm-hmm. And where's your husband from originally?
He's German.
Yeah.
But he is quite he lived he studied in China, he worked in Taiwan, he studied in Austria where we met. So he was quite international. And I was too. I worked in Shanghai, in Beijing, in Hong Kong before my kids. So we were both quite career people. And just I got the babies, he still continued to have his career. This was the difference, right?
Yeah.
So we went to Prague. It was like a healing process for me. So I went for therapy, and I didn't know what to do with my time because if you are always working and have 2 kids, and suddenly you have, I don't want to say it, but nothing at the beginning, right? And but it was good, and it was good for my health, for my mental health. And then I got pregnant again, so I had number 3, and which was really great at that time because I was a full-time mom, but I still missed something. So I'm very rational. So when we were in Germany and we had these discussions to move one day abroad for a few years, I knew that I cannot work in my former job as a journalist because you need to write in German to have great press releases or articles, whatever. And I cannot do it in English because this is not my mother tongue.
Yeah.
So I prepared to teach to teach German. So I did study at the Goethe Institute to be a German teacher, to be prepared. So in Prague, I went to a language school to teach German, just to have something for my own, but it was very little money, and with 3 kids, it was not worth it for me, and the time traveling, etc. But I tried it. And then the next thing was, okay, let's go to Singapore. And but I was always in contact with my former boss. She said, your doors are always open here. Whenever you come back, you are here. And she was very supportive. And she said, like, stay all the pregnancies I had. She said, stay in the business. I will send you topics, do some articles for us, just to stay in. And this was really nice of her, but this was really hard. I mean, it was lonely, to sit there in a foreign country to write articles. And it was, I missed the social connections in the office. But never mind, she was very a supportive woman. So we went to Singapore, and I still was working for my German company a bit. And then I was figuring, what should I do? Should I go to teach German again? Should I go to the German school to teach? And then I got pregnant again, number 4. So it was a great opportunity here to get number 4 because of the helper situation here. So I got help. I still have a lot of help, and I'm very grateful for this. So I can start working again. So my little one is 2 now. And last year I said, no, it's enough. I mean, I need to work again. And the first, I mean, I have to say, we were both working in Singapore 15 years ago without kids. So we know Singapore, we know how it works. And we were quite lucky and happy and grateful to be back. But when I came back, I went into a kind of depression, because life was different with 3 little kids than as a working person.
Yeah, and what visa were you on? A dependent pass when you came back this time?
Yes. So this was a horrible, I mean, still a horrible thing. So I remember when my husband came home from work in Prague and said, I got the job in Singapore. And he expected that I was like happy and jumping up and down. But the first thing was, I am on dependent pass. I cannot work again. And he was quite sad and disappointed that I reacted like this, because he expected every wife was like, yeah, you will get a helper, you will get this and this. But this was not important to me. It was like, I want to have work again. And but okay, then we came, and I couldn't remember the weather, the humidity, I was dependent on everything, on Redmart, on the taxi drivers. If there's still, if there's a lot of rain or no rain, if I can get a taxi, if I can bring my kids on time to football training. And there was so many stuff I was out of control of my daily life. In Prague, it was fine. I was alone. I was handling my 3 kids. I have my own car. I could travel wherever I want, and I could be on time. But here, without a car, and we decided not to have a car because of the expenses here. So it was horrible for me the first year here. And
what year was it that you arrived here?
It was 2018, so it was before COVID, which was great at looking back. But my husband, he didn't understand, and said, what's wrong with you? You always wanted to be back, and now you're complaining. And I mean, I get him. He went out. He went for business trips. He was seldom home. I was home with a new person of a helper in my home, was living with us, a young woman. I mean, it was just a strange situation for me. And he couldn't get it. I said, you have help. What's the issue? But I couldn't name it too, because what's wrong with me?
Yeah, it's so interesting.
So I went back for the summer holidays with my kids, and I felt like I could breathe again. So it was so strange. So at the beginning when we had her, my husband always said, okay, you get a helper, you need help with 3 kids. And I always said, I can manage it. I managed it in Europe alone, and it was totally fine. But after 3 months, I couldn't handle it anymore with the shopping and it was just too much. In Germany, you just drive somewhere, get everything. Here you need to go to different places, and it's just a different lifestyle. I underestimated. And then at the beginning, it's very embarrassing to say, every day I went to shopping malls to just not be alone with my helper, because it was just a strange feeling to have a stranger in my home. And but where to go, because it's so hot, you cannot go in the park. So I just went into the shopping malls, which is like just wasting my time, right? So I did it a few months. And when I went home, everybody said, are you crazy? What are you doing there? I said, I don't know, but I'm backing my husband's career. It's important for me and for him. And I would never say I want to go back, because I would destroy his career. So I went through 1 year of this kind of feelings. And then we decided to have number 4, because my husband said, this is the one and only time, because you have 24 hours help if you want to. And I got pregnant, and then COVID hit. So she was born a few days before the lockdown.
Oh my goodness.
So it was when she came out. I mean, when we left the hospital, I have this mother, newborn, whatever anxiety like a lot of mom had. So I didn't want that my helper touch my baby. And there were a lot of hormones, whatever. And it was always so stressful, that because I was so protective of her, that she shouldn't touch her, she shouldn't be in a room with her, she shouldn't be holding her. So I was even asking my smaller kids to take care of the newborn than an adult woman. And then 3 weeks after, I was diagnosed with postnatal depression. So this was the end of the end. It was horrible. And but somehow then COVID, it was for everybody horrible. But I think with a newborn, it was, the worst thing for me.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I like to talk about it, because not many people are talking about it.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are suffering of it, or suffered of it. And I want to know that it's totally okay that your hormones are getting crazy.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID times. And then, we survived COVID. And now my daughter is 2 years old. She's going to nursery now. And now I thought, now it's my time again. And I said to I cannot even remember why I started my business. I cannot remember the moment, but I was always interested in Feng Shui, even when I was as a teenager in Austria. And I was reading the books, and I don't know how I get this idea. I just said, okay, I'm in Singapore now, one of the Feng Shui centers of the world. I just find masters who wants to teach me. And I went through 3 masters. The first 2, they wanted to share their secrets, let's say, but just very on the surface. They didn't want to go very deep. I think they were scared of the competition, whatever. But I wanted to learn it. I wanted to see. I was asking so many questions, and they were saying, don't ask so many questions. And I think maybe it's just because in my heart I'm still a journalist. I need to get the answers, and And they told me they will not teach me anymore because I asked too many questions. I wanted to know how this philosophy, Feng Shui, is working. So I found, thank God, the third one he was really keen to teach me everything I wanted to know. And I'm still in contact with him. If I have any questions, if I go to a client's house, he will answer. So I'm very grateful for this support and this mentoring. And then I was learning Feng Shui a few years, 2 years. I went there every Tuesday for my classes. And I have to say, every Tuesday evening, I was so happy. I went to MRT station and I was just glowing because it was my time with my 4 kids. And I mean, I'm now grateful that I have my helper. She could put the kids to bed and I could study what I loved. And then, I don't know, somehow during COVID times, you're a lot of home, you're thinking about how to reorganize and structure your homes, like a lot of people were doing it, right? So I came to the Marie Kondo books and I read them and I said, okay, I would try it. I mean, we are living in a quite relatively small apartment in comparison to houses in Germany or any houses in Europe, I think, with 7 people now. So I tried the KonMari method in my own home first. And it was like really life-changing what the book said. And maybe it was also a control thing that I had something under control and I have an impact what I'm doing. And I can see the result immediately. So it was really fulfilling for me. I said, wow, this is amazing. So I looked up for a class, and then I was just lucky. A few weeks after, the Marie Kondo franchising system, she's a very clever businesswoman, they have an online class. So I told my husband, I want to pay this, I don't know, a few thousand US dollars to be a certified Marie Kondo consultant. And he thought I'm totally crazy because he thought I'm already totally crazy with my Feng Shui stuff. And now I'm coming with this. And I said, no, I want to do this. I don't know where this journey will be. Maybe I will open a business. I have no idea, but it's so interesting for me. And then he said, okay, whatever, just do it. So
you're like, it's my time. It's my time.
It's my time. And so I did this class. I did it the how to say the practice period. It took a few months. So so after the summer holidays, I started my business, and it was quite easy because everybody said it's after COVID it was very hard to work again in Singapore at a dependent pass holder. And I have to say, honestly, I would not open this business. I would not start it if I still could work. And because after COVID, the government changed the policies that as a DP holder, you're not allowed to work except you're starting your own business. And maybe this was my luck, my faith, because I'm so glad that I did it. I have my own time. I can schedule my own time. And I can still with my kids when it's important, if something is happening at school. So I can combine both now, which was always my dream. And yeah, I have to say that the first 1.5 years, I had a lot of struggles with my husband. And maybe some can, I don't know, relate to this because I was always at home. I was always available. I was always there for the kids. I was always there for him. I was always there when he was on business trip. And now if I said, no, I need to go to clients. No, I have a workshop. No, I need to work now. Even at the weekend, I need to have 2 hours. It was very hard for him to have the change of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's an adjustment on his end this time.
Yes, it is. And especially if he doesn't really believe in this Feng Shui stuff. And he said, what is going on with my wife, you know? But I have to tell you, it's working. I mean, okay, I don't go into the details of this job, but we have a contract of 4 years, and then COVID hit at the end of his contract, so we were not sure if we could stay or not. And at the beginning, it looked like we couldn't stay. And this was totally unexpected for him, because he thought COVID, no jobs in Europe and no jobs anywhere. So they just let him stay 1 more year, and then he has enough time, let the company decide where he can go next. But at that time, his boss said no. So he was really, really frustrated, unexpected, everything. So as an expat mom, what do you do if you get an answer like this? You start like looking for houses like crazy. You are like, I don't know, a superwoman, even more than usual. You apply for schools in Germany. You apply for whatever kindergarten you get. You apply for nurseries in I don't know how many weeks of time, because you don't know, will you live in 3 months? And you don't have even a house there. So where do you put your whole family? So this was my destiny to do it then, because he was focused on his job, right? But at the same time, I was telling him, let me do my job now. You don't believe in Feng Shui, but let me do my job now, because you have nothing to lose now. And he was still like, no, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, I will wait until you go to the office, and I will change your office room to enhance your career. And he said, whatever. And after 1.5 years, I was allowed somehow to do something. So I changed the position of his desk. I put special plants there in a special area. Everything what I learned. I contacted my master and said, I need help now. I need help soon. What should I do? My husband needs a job. We want to stay here. And the first time I changed something positive happened. And I thought, okay, coincidence, coincidence. The next time I changed something, another positive thing happened. I also thought coincidence. Then the third time, I said, no, this is not coincidence anymore. Feng Shui is working. And at the end, we got 3 more years with a new job. I mean, still in his old company, but we got 3 more years in comparison to going back in Germany in a few months. So he was still complaining when I changed it, and he saw the changes. And then I said, okay, if you don't like it, change it back. I don't care, change it back. Because I was so tired of the fighting and the struggling, but he didn't dare to change anything.
You've got a believer now.
But he, of course, never committed. So he signed his contract. We have 3 more years. So I was so relieved. Of course, I got the spots in the schools I wanted in Germany.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry, we will come back in a few years and keep in contact, whatever. So all the efforts, like every mom is doing in this situation, it's normal life as an expat mom, I think.
Well, you at least know that you can hustle to get the things happening if it needs to happen again.
Yes, it's just so much stress for nothing.
Yeah.
And you still need to manage your family, and then manage your husband's career, by the way.
So I have so many questions for you. I've got questions around taking you back a little bit to your time in Prague. How did you, when you sort of, it sounds almost like you've got sort of like romantic memories of that first move to Prague after doing the second move and having a really tough time when you first got to Singapore. When you think back to that first sort of move when you guys relocated to Prague, how were you filling your day there? What sorts of things were you doing? Were you able to connect in with other people in a similar position to you? What did it sort of look like on a day-to-day when you were in Prague?
So I think as a trailing spouse, the best thing is to have kids. So the first thing is we got friends. I got friends from the kindergarten. And the thing is, Prague, it was like a very small, it's still a very small expat community there. And the Czech, they were not so open to foreigners. So you are get together with women which you normally, I think, will not be stuck together. It's just the situation. Everybody's lonely. Everybody needs somehow friends. And this was a special situation. And you are with families together. You would normally never go for coffee in a normal situation, right? So, but everybody helped each other. And I still have friends there. I'm still connected to them. One of the friends from the kindergarten is the godmom of my daughter now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so I think it's the benefits being an expat wife. It's just you have so many great connections. You meet so many inspiring people, especially inspiring women. They are so strong. You would never see this in a normal daily life in your home country, I think, if you don't see how much they're doing.
That's so interesting. And it's almost sort of like that, yes, you're being thrown together with people that you might not have originally or normally had gravitated to, but you've got that shared common interest that you're all trailing spouses and that you're going through an interesting life change together. It's really interesting finding people and really interesting others around you like that.
And you always have two groups of these women. I realized it also in Singapore. So one part, it's like they're really, really struggling. It takes about 1 year to get up again. And another part, they're just so happy. They're just so happy, so grateful. And I thought, okay, this could be a honeymoon period because I always struggled. But they're just so happy. I cannot explain it. And I said,
yeah, that's really interesting. That's a really interesting observation.
Yeah.
So what do you, oh, sorry, you say?
Sorry, yeah.
I was going to say then, what do you think, you've been really generous with sharing your challenges along the way. What's something that you think would be one of your like most incredible experiences that you've had as a trailing spouse?
I think so many interesting people. And I mean, to be an expat, you are a special, special kind of career. I think there are so many interesting careers. I have a friend who is a GM of a 5-star hotel. He's telling me about all the guest stories about the VIPs. I think it's so interesting. And then on the way now to be an entrepreneur, I meet so many interesting, inspiring women. I never knew that there are so many entrepreneurs out there, so many mompreneurs who are doing so many stuff, so many interesting things. They have so many great ideas. Most of them are well educated. So it's a pity if you don't do something with your knowledge.
Yeah, that's interesting. So going back to then how you've switched from a career, a corporate journalist and working for wages, it's quite the transition, like changing into the small business owner. How did you start when you first started your business here? How did you navigate the legalities of it to start with, like actually down to the nuts and bolts of registering a company's name or doing those sorts of things? Did you reach out and use an agency or someone, or did you navigate government websites yourself?
I Googled a lot. I mean, the first thing was how to get my LLC. And because there were a lot of rumors, you don't get it, you're on DP. So, but it
Can
was
you explain what an LOC is for those that might not know what a letter of consent is?
Yeah, so as a DP holder in Singapore, you're only allowed to work if you get this letter of consent. And during COVID times, the government canceled this for the DP holders. So you are not allowed to work in Singapore as an expat wife, as a trailing spouse. And I think this is really, really frustrating. And I think many families will not come anymore if the wife has really, a career. She will not willing to come if you cannot work anymore. So.
So how did you go about getting this business started? Was it something you sort of touched on the fact that you don't know where it sort of came from, but you were like, I need to do something. I'm going to just get stuck in and work out how to do this myself? Yes.
And I have to say, I'm learning every day and I'm growing every day. And I told to my husband, I said, I'm surprised about myself. I mean, I was in corporate so long, but entrepreneurship is totally different. You need to do everything your own. And if you go for holidays for 2 weeks, you don't have any earnings. And if you work hard for, I don't know how many months, you still could be that you don't have any earnings. So at the beginning, it was quite tough. And because I didn't see any outcome at the beginning, the first few weeks, and there were a lot of obstacles. I didn't know how to do a homepage. I was really miserable in social media. I didn't even have an Instagram account. And now I'm really good in it. I love doing it. And I found a guy in Indonesia who is doing my homepage. So I did everything myself. I do marketing, sales, accounting, everything myself. So yeah, I'm learning so much.
Oh, I love it. Well, congratulations to you. And I'm really pleased that you were able to get yourself into a space where you were feeling not only much happier, but ready to get stuck into the next thing. If you could give any advice to other trailing spouses at any stage of the trailing spouse journey, what would your one piece of advice that you could give, or something that you wish you'd known when you sort of first started this journey?
Enjoy your life. Don't feel guilty, because I felt always guilty that I maybe not deserve this luxurious life, and everybody would see you as oh wow, you made it. You don't need to work. You just can be home. You can go shopping every day. You can spend the money every day from your husband. I said, I don't want this. I want to earn my own money. I don't want that he gets SMS how much I spend in cold storage, because I'm not allowed to have my own bank account. And this is horrible for an independent woman. And we were fighting about this a lot. And he said, I can do anything. It's the policy of this country. And I said, yes, but imagine how I feel. I'm over 40. I don't have my own bank account. Imagine this if you have a career before. You depend so much on your husband. And okay, this is really going deep, but I needed to say to my husband the last few years, maybe 3 times, if it's getting really hard, I said, don't forget, I gave up my career for you. I gave up my life for you. So be nice to me. I mean, the men, they need to realize it. It's not like I am here because it's for fun. I gave up so much for him. I mean, I gained a lot. I see the world. I met a lot of great people, but I don't know if I would have not my own career back in Germany if I didn't follow. I backing his career to do what he wants to do. I think we could be also happy if we've been back in our home country and we're both working and we have both equal careers. but probably we will not have 4 kids then because it's not possible. But yeah, but that sometimes you need to remind your husbands about this, what you gave up. But as I said, this is just me because I'm like this. Some other women, they're totally fulfilled with their how to say, as a life, as a mom, as a doing housework, homework, whatever. But I'm not like this.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's well, my takeaway of listening to your advice then is to, yes, enjoy it, but also maybe just a little reminder every now and then of what you might have given up to be here.
Yes. I mean, from the outside, it looks everything perfect, right? You are in the sunny Singapore 1 year long, just sunshine, but nobody knows what's really going on. You don't have your job, you don't have your family, you don't have your friends, you don't have your own life. You depend totally financially on your husband. Not every woman likes this kind of situation.
Well, and I think that is like, just, isn't that the advice for all people all the times, is you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors when you meet people.
Yeah.
Look, Dana, thank you so much. I really appreciate how much you shared, and it was so beautiful to hear your story, and you really are quite the global citizen that you've traipsed around this place. So thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate hearing your story.
Thank you.